So, joined today by Paul Spargo, or Spargs, as many of your mates no doubt call you. What I like to do as we do these journeys is start with your local heritage to Albury-Wodonga. So, when did you come here? Were you born here?
Kev, I was originally born in Perth, and then my father moved over to this ground, or to the Albury Footy Club to coach, and I was 3 years old, and then lived my life in Albury. Went to school here, went to Albury Public School, and then moved on to Albury High. So yeah, an Albury boy pretty much, and I'm very proud of that actually.
And you've had quite a good football career, but of course following in the footsteps of your entire family before you, is that right?
Yeah, look, my dad obviously played AFL football or VFL football back then with Footscray. Uncle also played for Footscray, and my grandfather, the chief as we used to call him, he played for Melbourne and Footscray. So yeah, there's a bit of history there with the AFL/VFL, and I was fortunate enough then to do the same thing. So.
And as we sit here today, we're waiting for the outcome of the fourth generation for your own son.
Yeah,
to see how he goes.
Yeah, that's correct. Little Charlie, he's only small, but he's in the draft for tomorrow night, and hopefully he can find himself a home, and at AFL level as well. He deserves to. He's put the hard work in, so fingers crossed. Was
the pressure on for you to have a son when you decided to have a family, to make sure the next generation came through at the high level football? Oh,
not really, no. That's just, like, I've got an older boy who played footy, and he's gone on to do other things with study and whatnot, and a daughter who's a bit younger, but Charlie just loved his footy from day one, and he's fortunate enough to be not bad at it, so...
Best of luck.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I'm sure that'll make you proud if that comes across the line.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're excited for tomorrow night, and we're not sure whether he'll get picked up number one, and then if he does get picked up, where he'll end up. He could be, one of 18 clubs and anywhere in Australia. So it's exciting, but it's an anxious time as well.
How do you think other people would describe Paul Spargo?
That's a good question. I suppose I'm a fairly private person, unless you get to know me, and my close mates would not say that. But yeah, look, I like to be fairly private. I'd like to be thought of as a pretty honest, trustworthy person, and I'm very happy that I'm an Albury boy. I'm very loyal to my family and my friends. So yeah, it's probably how I'd sum myself up.
And so we know that over the years you've been in business locally. We know you're currently working for a fairly significant business. Josh, you're probably wearing the shirt there today. You've been given the time to come and speak to us.
They'll be happy with that.
Yeah. But what do you do with your spare time? Obviously football's still a bit of your life, but and within your family, but what other hobbies or interests do you have?
Yeah, look, another good question, because it's funny. I don't have a lot to do with footy per se anymore. So, I've got the kids, so 2 boys and a daughter who are heavily involved in sport, and, lots of different activities, from dancing and, obviously footy and basketball, netball, all that kind of stuff. So I try to get to as many of those games as I can and support them as much as I can. Just from the side, I don't like to get front and centre. Don't want to be an ugly parent.
Yeah.
But I feel that I need to do that. My dad was in business with Blacklocks Ford for many, many years, and he was the general manager there. And one of his biggest regrets was he never got to see us, watch us play sport and grow and develop as kids as much as he would have liked. So that's a regret of his, and I always promised myself that I'd always go and watch the kids and support them with whatever they did.
And learn from what was unfortunate, I guess, your father's sort of,
Yeah. Look, at the time he had to work hard, and he was, doing well, and the business was doing well, but it did take up a large percentage, large proportion of his time. So that was just one thing that if he could change, he would have.
So, admitting yourself, that you're a fairly private man.
Yep.
What's something interesting that perhaps you could tell me now, or even a story that not many people would know? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Not off the top of my head. I'm with the loyalty, I suppose. My wife and Kate and I have been married for many, many years. We met when we were 15.
Wow.
So we're childhood sweethearts, if you like. She was a Wodonga girl, so at the time Aubrey Wodonga, you never went across and pinched a Wodonga girl, and
I was going to say, how did you get across the river?
Yeah, nearly World War III at some stage. But so we've been married. Geez, don't even know off the top of my head how long, but we've been together since we were 15, and again, that's something we're both proud of, and doesn't happen much anymore.
No.
But 3 beautiful kids, and that's probably not a great story, but I mean, the other thing I'm pretty proud of is that I jumped off the Union Bridge at Albury. If you're an Albury boy, that's one thing you had to do, jump off the Uni Bridge, which...
And prove yourself, can't do it anymore.
No, they've got the mesh up.
I've still seen them do it, but it's a bit more difficult.
Well, you probably weren't supposed to back in those days. But we used to give the truckies a bit of what for, and then off we jump. So if you're an Albury boy, that's what you had to do.
What do you consider to be your biggest achievement in life so far, knowing that you've coached at good levels, you've played at great levels at a couple of different clubs? Is that your biggest professional achievement, do you think? Is family a bigger achievement that outweighs all of that?
Yeah, look, I think they're both something that I feel proud of, and I think I've achieved a lot. But I think my biggest achievement is that I was able to open a business up, Spargo Motors, basically from scratch and on my own. And we were there for 14 or 15 years. And it was
I bought a car off you.
Yeah, well, there you go. Hopefully it's still going. But look, that's a difficult thing, and it's something that, and it was a good business for a fair period of time. So I had to make a decision 12 months ago to look at other avenues and prioritise, other things in life. But that's something that I'm extremely proud of, that I was able to start a business up from scratch, and for it to be, relatively successful was something that I'm even more proud of.
Well, 14 years or so, that's success.
Yeah.
And obviously market change in that time, and
lots of different things happen, and you've always got to be progressive, and you've always got to look at other things, and I prioritised family and probably not as much stress. But they were enjoyable years, and they were successful. So
was that one of the toughest decisions you ever had to make, to wind up your own business and return to the workforce?
Yeah, it was, but the time was right, with the children being the age they're at, and Kate and I, where we were at in our lives, we kind of were comfortable enough to look at other options, and it was just a matter of timing, and we're comfortable with the decision we made.
What do you think's one of the worst things that's ever happened to you in life?
Oh, without doubt, the worst thing that ever happened to me was losing my mother at a young age to cancer. So 3 boys, and my dad, and she was a great lady who we loved, and she was just full of life, and unfortunately stricken down by cancer at a relatively young age. And that's the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with and cope with, and to this day it's something that I struggle to get my head around sometimes.
How old were you at the time?
I was in Melbourne, so probably 23 or 24, but I had a younger brother who was only 16 or 17, and a middle brother who's in between us. But it was, we relied on her for so much. 4 boys, and you know, 1 female, and she ran all of our lives. So and she loved to do it, and she was fantastic.
What's one of the best things that you think's ever happened to you in life?
Best thing, that's obviously your children is great. I'm fortunate to have 3 healthy, beautiful kids. Meeting my wife when I was, young, and been with her ever since, and we're still happily married, and best of all, good mates. The opportunity to coach the Albury Footy Club was amazing. I was never going to really coach. I didn't aspire to coach, and through one thing led to another. When I came back, when Mum was sick, that's why I came back to Albury, and that was a long time ago. But I look back at that, and all the memories I've had, and all the friendships that I've made on the way through has just been spectacular. And I love this footy club. Yeah,
well, you certainly, a couple of times have touched on the fact that you're proud of Albury, you're proud of being local, you're proud of your marriage.
Yeah.
Why do you think your marriage has been so successful? Childhood sweethearts, 15, you could quite easily...
Yeah.
A lot of people have got sick of a partner, and fairly quickly too in some cases.
Probably a lot of hard work, Kev. A lot of hard work.
Is?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like anything in life. It's not easy. You have your highs and your lows, and you get through. But probably a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Your kids, are they in a position, are they married or in a position
to
be
not yet.
married?
No, I've got Abe, who's, 20, Charlie's just about to turn 18 and Annabelle's 14, so...
Yeah, so there's still a couple of years for you to save
I
up
hope
for those
so.
weddings.
Yeah, hope so. Bit of time yet.
If you could be anywhere in the world tomorrow, income, finances, no problem, where do you think you'd be?
Well, I'd always like to have a base in Albury, but I do love the coast, so anywhere on the coast. Nice climate, a few waves, a couple of nice cold beers.
Bit of a surfer?
Oh, the closet surfer. No, I'm not. I wouldn't call myself a surfer, but I like outdoors and I love the beach and stuff like that. So yeah.
And what do you think you'll be doing in 5 years from now? If we sat back on this same grandstand bench, what do you think you'd be up to?
Well, I won't be coaching footy.
Yeah.
Look, hopefully I'll be up north, semi-retired or retired. That'll make me late 50s. So yeah, that's a goal at some stage to move north. As I said, have a base in Albury.
Is that to a stable, warm climate? Is it the winters are a bit harsh in Albury, Wodonga?
Yeah, my father and my brother are up that way, so to move closer to them as Dad gets older, look after him, but also enjoy the qualities of life that Queensland presents.
Touching on coaching, as a coach, how do you go about motivating different individuals to work together and become a winning team? You've got different personalities. How do you make that happen?
Well, first of all, I think you've got to have an element of self-motivation. There's no doubt about that. And when we look at recruiting or when we look at the type of people we want to come to your footy club, we want quality. We want quality of person over and above anything else. So you can be a great footy player, but not have that honesty as an individual. So, if you've got that and you're a quality person, then I tend to think that you'll be self-motivated anyway. So from a coaching perspective, that makes that a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then when you bring a group of self-motivated individuals or footy players together, they can then raise that bar and they challenge each other and all those kind of things, and then that's just a really good recipe for success. So you've got that lovely balance of competition, and it just makes people strive harder and harder, and as long as they're realmed in and they're doing it together, not just as individuals, that can be a very good recipe for success.
When you go into a big game, such as the grand final, as an example, how do you prepare the team to give them the best chance at that success? Again,
a good question, and it's a question that's often asked. You come up to big games, and I'm not sure you want to change a lot. Obviously, there's a lot riding on that particular game, or the outcome is really important. But we tended to go about business as usual, so keeping everything in perspective. Keeping your preparation right, being honest enough to talk to each other and talk to everyone else about, look, at the end of it, it is really, really important, probably more important than any other game during the year, but you need to keep everything in perspective and you need to not change your preparation, because that's what's got you there and that's what's going to help you win that game of football.
So steady as she goes.
Yeah, pretty much, but not shying away from the fact that, it is an important game either.
Significant.
I'm passionate about people that want to have a go. I don't suffer fools, so a lot of people say, look, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it's words. You want to see actions, and so I'm passionate about people that want to have a go and then back that up with actions rather than just words. Again, I think it gets back to the individual. So you put structures and those kind of things in place as a football player, but then you don't want not to allow them to express themselves and play with flair and show what they've got got to show. So I'm not sure that's innovation, but you want to give them strong parameters, but and guidelines, so your team rules and all that kind of thing. But within that, boys, if you want to be innovative, or show innovation, feel free and take it on and have a real crack. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really important to have those core values, really spoken about early days and have them in place. And once you get those values in place, my strong belief is that it's just habit. It's, you know, and it's habit and patterns. So if you have got those core values and you do them day in, day out, no matter what, under, you know, pressure, under no pressure, that come crunch time, you know, they're going to hold up those core values. So yeah, if you just, it's repetitive and it's repetition, but it's more, if you practice and train good habits, then ultimately, under pressure, they'll come to the fore and help you out. Yeah, pretty similar kind of. You know, you've got those values and your philosophies that you're very, very strong on, and you never shy away from them, whether you're, you know, winning 10 games in a row or you're losing 10 games in a row. And I mean, if you're strong with those values and those philosophies, your players embrace them and come on board, then it's a pretty easy ship to drive. And I tend to think that you'll ultimately be successful more times than you won't be. Well, I think you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest within, so you've got to be honest about how you go about your own game or, you know, work. And then I think if you do that, then you win the respect. And then once you win the respect, then obviously people listen and take notice. And if you're going to be a leader, you need to be respected. So it starts kind of there and it builds up slowly through a number of those things. So, you know, those words, work ethic and honesty, and once you're trusted and you win that respect, then I think you can lead in your own right strongly, and then people will follow. But what used to drive me was probably fear of failure in the end. And once you get a bit of success, the last thing you want to do is have someone that you think you're capable of beat you. So it's that fear of losing and that fear of not being as successful as you'd like, particularly if you've put a lot of hard work in and a lot of preparation in. You know, I'd imagine if you only did it half cocked and you didn't actually put all that work into it and all those hours into it, it wouldn't mean as much. But it's to find that if you're really prepared and you really worked hard, then there was no way you wanted to fail and see all that hard work go to waste.
Well, Paul Spargo, that's as hard as it was to spend a bit of time here in the Albury Football Ground Grandstand with me this afternoon. Thanks so much for sharing part of your journey with us.
No worries, Kev.